Why did China's aircraft carriers choose heavy fighters over the more numerous medium fighters? Is there a fatal law of modern naval and air combat hidden behind this? When India's 40,000-ton carrier carries 24 MiG-29Ks, China's 60,000-ton Liaoning ship is also configured with 24 J-15 heavy fighters, which has triggered the outside world to question the quantitative disadvantage. But in-depth analysis of the development trajectory of national naval aviation, a subversion of the truth of common sense gradually emerged from the U.S. Navy was forced to change the Super Hornet, the more the larger the helpless, to the French Rafale M fighters in the sea confrontation of the dilemma. The fatal defect of medium-sized naval aircraft in the high-intensity confrontation was exposed. The Chinese Navy's seemingly non-mainstream choices are in fact the core essence of the modern aircraft carrier combat system. The deep logic of China's naval aviation development path is reflected in the Golden Triangle combination of J-15T, J-15D and J-35. Although J-35 as a stealth fighter is categorized as medium-sized, its maximum takeoff weight of 28 tons and 11.5 meters folded wingspan design are actually quasi-heavy specifications, and this design ensures both stealth performance and load capacity. The J-15D, which is similar to the A-18G electronic warfare aircraft, can carry more powerful electronic warfare systems by virtue of its heavy platform, and its jamming radius has been increased by more than 40% compared with medium-sized platforms. This systematic combat thinking, the actual combat power of 24 heavy aircraft group is far more than the simple superposition of 30 medium-sized aircraft. The U.S. Naval War College's 2021 projection shows that the exchange ratio of 12 F/A-180 F supported by electronic warfare aircraft against 24 MiG-29Ks can be as high as 1 to 5.7, which intuitively reveals the degrading impact of quality advantage on quantity advantage. The nature of carriers as mobile airfields dictates that their carrier-based aircraft must compensate for the inherent deficiencies of land bases. When the U.S. Institute of Naval Research disclosed the average daily sortie rate of 160 sorties for the Nimitz-class carriers, little was mentioned about the fact that 70% of these sorties were accomplished by the F/A-180 F heavy modifications. The Chinese Navy understands this, and the J-15T's breakthrough in taking off with full fuel and ammunition, aided by electromagnetic catapulting, has made its single-sortie combat effectiveness 2.3 times that of a medium-sized aircraft. The strategic value brought by this qualitative change is especially critical in far-sea denial operations. A J-15T carrying 4 anti-ship missiles can cover a 350-kilometer radius of the sea, which is equivalent to the combat effectiveness of 3 medium-sized fighters with 2 missiles mounted on them. More critically, the heavier aircraft has greater battlefield survivability. Its larger fuselage space can accommodate more sophisticated electronic countermeasures systems, and more fuel reserves allow pilots to have greater tactical freedom in engagements. History always repeats itself. The Soviet Navy gave up the Yak-141 vertical takeoff and landing fighters, and switched to the Su-33 heavy carrier-based aircraft based on the Black Sea Fleet's need to fight against U.S. carrier battle groups. Now Fujian ship carrying the J-15T and J-35 combination, just like when the F-14 and F-18 Golden Partner reborn, but injected with new genes of systematic combat. When the outside world is entangled in the number of deck fighters, the Chinese Navy has long cast its eyes to the farther blue. Heavy carrier aircraft is not only the iron wing of the thunder, but also to support the community of destiny of the sea. Strategic pivot. Observed from the dimension of technological evolution, the advantage of heavy shipborne aircraft will be more prominent in the era of 6th-generation aircraft. The shipboard aircraft program disclosed by the U.S. GAD program shows that its maximum takeoff weight reaches 35 tons, far exceeding all existing shipboard fighters. China in the J-15, based on the development of the J-15T, through the replacement of the new composite wing, successfully lifespan from 6,000 hours to 8,000 hours. This continuous improvement ability is exactly where the advantages of heavy platform. On the contrary, the Indian MiG-29K fleet, due to the lack of structural strength, led to 40% of the fighters grounded for a long period of time, exposing the bad consequences of the medium-sized aircraft limit squeeze performance. France's new generation carrier aircraft program has abandoned the Rafale M's improvement and shifted directly to the larger SCAF program, which further validates the forward-looking nature of China's technology path. The J-15D carries an electronic warfare system with 120 kilowatts of power, 1.5 times that of the Liaoning, and this energy advantage allows it to simultaneously jam 32 targets within a range of 300 kilometers. Medium-sized electronic warfare aircraft, on the other hand, struggle to break the 80 kilowatt power threshold due to power supply and heat dissipation limitations. Behind the Liaoning's successful suppression of the F-22 in the 2022 Rim of the Pacific military exercises, it was a tactical miracle achieved at the expense of its full weapons mounting capacity, an extreme configuration that is simply not sustainable on the real battlefield. The coordinated operation mode of drones and manned aircraft, on the contrary, amplifies the core position of heavy manned aircraft. One J-15T can command 4 Attack 11 drones to implement distributed strikes. This brain-body separation mode of operation, so that the heavy aircraft is transformed into an air command center. This brain-body separation mode of operation has transformed the heavy aircraft into an airborne command and control center, while the medium-sized aircraft has limited space for avionics systems, making it difficult to integrate a powerful enough command and control system. The U.S. Loyal Wingman program selected F-18 instead of F-35 as the control platform is based on similar considerations. On the balance beam of maintenance cost and combat effectiveness, China has taken a unique path. The J-15 series adopts a modularized design, and the engine replacement time is 30% shorter than that of the F-18. This design wisdom breaks the spell of heavy equals high maintenance, compared with the whole life cost of French Rafale M, which is $48,000 per flight hour. J-15T controls the cost at $32,000 through the domestic turbofan 10H engine and digitalized guarantee system, realizing a comprehensive transcendence of cost effectiveness. This LATECOMERS advantage allows China to maintain the scale of 24 carrier aircraft while realizing an average annual strength of 1,800 sorties, reaching 75% of the operational effectiveness of the U.S. aircraft carriers. The true value of heavy carrier aircraft is ultimately released the moment eyes are cast on the Fujian ship's electromagnetic catapult. When the J-15T catapults into the air with a takeoff weight of 34 tons, it carries a total weight of 12 tons of fuel and ammunition, which is equivalent to the combat load of 1.5 fully mounted Rafale M. The J-15T can be used in the counter-intervention area denial strategy in the framework of an anti-intervention area denial strategy. This single aircraft breakthrough capability means that a carrier battle group can launch an effective strike up to 1,500 kilometers away from the coastline, whereas a medium-sized fleet would need to close to within 800 kilometers to achieve the same effect, a distance that is already within the absolute kill zone of the Dongfeng 21D anti-ship ballistic missile. Therefore, China's choice of heavy carrier aircraft is not simply a technological preference, but a strategic sobriety that cuts through the fog of the air and sea battlefield.